Steichen.
Here.
Okay, you got the agenda before you? I think it's okay unless somebody wants to add something. Ingalls made the motion.
I'll second it.
Station second, all those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? Approval of the minutes. Kathy made the
That was ours.
motion.
Oh, sure, yeah, yep.
All those in favor, signify by saying aye. Okay. This is just come for the committee. Lena?
Okay, you have your draft agenda for next week's meeting. Please take a look at it and let me know if you see anything that I've missed that you know as chairman should be on there. I also gave to you the draft agreement between the Illinois Department of Corrections and I4, which is Illinois Federation for Outdoor Resources. The county is not a party to this agreement, but this is what we had talked about a few months ago, where I4 was looking to enter into an agreement with I4 for use of the state grounds. And I'm only giving it to you in case you happen to have any concerns. I know that this agreement isn't final and that DOC actually has some recommended changes that we haven't seen yet. But I wanted to give you the opportunity to at least see it before it goes forward. So if you have any questions, comments, or concerns about it, please give me a call in the next couple days.
Okay, anything else?
Nope, that's all.
Ginger or Diane, do you have,
I don't have
did
anything.
you come to give us any information or?
I did not.
Okay, we'll go ahead then and get started and, on the comments that I have. One of the things that I especially wanted to get out here and wanted to let the admin committee know about, all of you know Stan Weber, at the end of this year is not seeking re-election, will be retiring from the board. And I think he's got, we'll look it up for sure, but 40 years or so of service with the county board. And I would like to do a little more than we would normally do. You know, we definitely want to have a reception here before the board meeting, and I'm hoping to reach out to any of his family members that can make it, any past board members, and board chairs, whoever. I want to get an ad in the paper, get that out. And so we want to see that Stan gets a good send off. I hope he's going to be well enough that he can be here, and his wife. You know, Stan's been a great board member, I think, over the years. Maybe not so great here lately, but he has been. So that amount of time, we need to do something. I even said something to Alina. I don't know if we can do it or not. I'd like to announce a Stan Weber weekend or Stan Weber Saturday or something for Livingston County. I don't know. It's not gonna, doesn't look to me like that'd hurt anything, and be a little more recognition for Stan. So if you got any ideas, let me know, because we need to be getting that planned here shortly. And if anybody wants to sing or
You plan on doing the reception before the board
before the
meeting?
board meeting, you know, maybe 4,
I
4:30.
don't know, I got a feeling, I mean, Stan's got a lot of friends in the community. We might end up with a crowd bigger than we realize in terms of taking up time. You know.
You know, I want the board to be here, and so I hate to have it any other night, and we're gonna try it that way.
We'll start early.
Yeah,
4.
4, I think, and spill over, and we can go eat both years if we have to, so. Okay, so anyway, that's one thing. Just some things that I did that maybe you didn't know about, and you ought to know. No, I don't know if you ought to know about it. Adam Downs and I went up to Joliet to the rail yards, and we were wined and dined by the Union Pacific president of the railroad in a rail train up there. Told us about all the value that trains play in all phases of serving the community and the economy. You know, it was interesting. Not trying to sell us anything, not trying to, you know, do anything else, but It was just kind of a public relation. They said it was important, you know, this part of the area. There was only Adam and I and Jared Anderson. Most of the crowd was more Will County, Grundy County, up through there. Oh, that's Larry Walsh. You probably know Larry.
I do.
Well,
Junior and senior.
yeah, he
Well.
was there. One of the things that came up, in elections was board pay. You know, and it was decided not to increase board pay any. They felt that'd be too bad, you know, I think a hard hit. Public relations, not especially in the best interest. So it was brought up. It was decided not to go anywhere with it, but there was a lengthy discussion on that.
I heard on the radio this morning that we did get a big raise.
We did?
It was on the Pontiac radio, yeah.
Really?
Marty Pan decided to give us all a raise. It was on 98.9.
Okay, well, we can look in the check next month.
I guess, I don't know.
Well, it wouldn't go into effect for 2 years anyway, until,
Well, it really wouldn't go into effect, it wasn't on our agenda, we could
Yeah.
discuss it, we just couldn't take any action.
We had I had one board member that expressed, I think, a lot of happiness that we were able to work all of our meetings into a 3-day week. Yeah, that'd be you, Jason. I don't know, what'd you think about having all the meetings in, good, bad, too much, too little, 3 days? Any thoughts from the admin committee? Jason, now's your time.
No, we're good.
No.
I expressed it yesterday.
No, not enough. I mean, I'd share it.
No, I
Because there
just,
may be
well,
others.
the difference for me is like, I had one each night, but usually there's 2 on Monday nights, and tonight, you know, and
Yeah,
that's the only difference.
Did you like it better that way or not?
It didn't matter, cause I'm close enough now, normally there's sometimes I'm an hour and a half away and I can't make it no matter what.
Is there, and this just happened to me because of the way it's set up, I've got 3 today, has anybody had 3, their term as a county board member, have they ever had 3 right in a row?
This is only happened
Be-
because of ag and zoning.
Yeah, I was kind of tongue in cheek yesterday, but I mean, the more I think about it, I mean, it's,
Well,
I had 3 on Tuesday.
I had 4.
you had 3 on Tuesday?
4 on Tuesday, back to back.
Yeah.
And that's hard. It is. But, whatever.
oh, kind of wanted your thoughts on that, Linda.
I was here for all 4 too, but I liked it, you know, it's, because we're all so busy on different nights, but it does take a lot out of you.
If you had the schedule out ahead of time, you would know when you were being assigned, you know, like you said, 3, too many. You'd be able to maybe stay away from that if you knew the days already. And it's unusual to have ag and zoning, or, you know, ag and zoning is usually on, what, Tuesday?
Tuesday, that's
Yeah.
it.
So it's different, but due to Chuck, is why it was changed to today. Okay.
Is there quite a bit of savings to move from a 3 to a 4?
Probably some,
Depends on
yeah.
How it plays out?
All the committees on.
I like when I'm down there, I don't have to go back, you know, you take 2 meetings, one, they're fairly close together, so you,
Yeah,
you know, not 3 hours between them. Yes, I would think that you're saving some money for the county.
I think you are too,
Going from 3 to 4, from 4 to 3.
yeah.
Get them fish hooks out of your pockets,
Well,
go
the clock
down there and
back
spend
about
some
40
money.
years and do
Buy
all
some
of
stuff,
that.
pass it around, like, come on.
I'm saving the county, not me.
Okay, well, if you have thoughts on that, you know, I don't know, let me know. I think it's worth talking about.
Well, there's been talk about reducing the number of
Yeah.
committees too, and that would be the time to look at, because then it would be easier.
But I don't think it'd hurt to try it ahead of time, you know. Okay, well, doesn't matter. But if you have any thoughts on it, let me know. We had a situation came up, and I don't think I've shared it with anybody, and I don't have the letter. I got it with outside in the car. We had a letter that was sent to several board members from an employee with soil and water, division, and it was a letter that was sent concerning a lack of payment for services rendered for work that they had done concerning the solar farms. And it said that if they didn't get paid, right away, they wouldn't do any more work for the soil and water.
NRCS.
It was, yeah, but it came through the soil and water. Well, soil and water and the Livingston County Board has had excellent relationships throughout many, many years. They've supported us, we've supported them. And it was sent to, randomly selected, as best I can figure out, board members. It was not sent to Darrell Holt, did not get a letter. I did not get a letter. And I don't know, did you get one, Elaine?
I had one forwarded to me from
Okay.
one of the board members,
And
not direct.
so it was people,
I got one.
it was yeah, several did, but it was people that
Not the
could
ad
have,
committee.
it was people that could have really helped in the problem, and they did not get a copy of that letter. And I don't know why it was sent to several of your board members to get that problem solved. As soon as Alina found out about it, it was some invoices that had got in piles that Chuck had, and he hadn't presented them. As soon as Alina found out about it, they were shortly after that put on her desk, and then submitted for payment and got paid that week. I don't know what the purpose of the letter was. I was so angry, I went out and saw the chairman of the Soil and Water, asked him if we had a problem, and he was very upset, said he didn't know about it. They did not do business that way, and he said the lady that sent the letter, her last day of work is Friday. He said, or we would have a bigger problem with her.
Well, apparently it's the county owed somebody money.
We owed Soil and Water for
For-
soil probes and stuff for solar farm applications. The solar farm applications have paid for it, so the money was already here.
Oh, I see, okay, now,
It was just, we had to funnel it through to get paid. And,
so part of the application, they pay those
Yeah.
fees they had, okay, now I got the picture.
and so,
They pay them through us and then we
That's
remit
right.
this on.
that's right. And, it didn't get done. So, I feel, well, Soil and Water was unhappy. They said they never authorized her to send the email to anybody or to us, and they were very unhappy that it did get sent out. And they apologized to me and
Well, but we had an employee apparently that was sitting on invoices.
That's right. We did.
That person
We-
owes an apology to them.
we have some culpability in it because
Well-
Chuck, but, with all these solar farm apps and stuff, is it an excuse? Probably not.
No,
But
I'm
it
just
happened,
saying, you should send
Yeah.
a letter saying, sorry, got,
We relayed that many times,
okay.
that we were sorry. They're fine with it. So, okay, I just wanted to let you know,
It's 4,000 something, right?
yeah, it's around $4,000.
We'll approve that tonight.
Huh?
We'll approve that tonight.
Okay, well, the check's already been sent.
Well, that's the same with guns.
Yeah.
Let's approve those after. That's how it works. Pay for it.
And of course, salt and wool.
Most everything else.
Sorry.
Alina and I had a conference call today with a state official concerning the workforce, the group in Livingston County. That workforce operates out of the library, second floor, I think, of the library. And, it's a job creation, helps people get skills to be able to get jobs, and I think they do pretty good work. They're not real well known. But we've been in with Kankakee, and now the state has changed those groups, and we're gonna be in with a much larger group. It'll be McLean County for one, Peoria County, Woodford, Tazewell, so the dynamics of who we are with. We've been happy in being with Kankakee because we get attention and, you know, you can always get meetings right away. So, but they're in the process of changing that over. It hasn't happened yet, but it's going to in the near future. I'm hoping, and I thought I was told we'll have a meeting, another one, but I'm hoping that Kankakee was talking about they'd be able to keep their office and the same workforce they have here in Pontiac as a satellite. So I'm hoping that gets done because I don't want to lose it out of this community. Mark, UCCI, who we are members of, I think I mentioned it here at another meeting. They have offered to pay up to $2,000 per board member to go out to Washington, D.C. and meet with some legislators and give them some feedback on what counties need and what they're doing and so on and so forth. Marty Fannin volunteered, and I waited for quite a while because if there had been somebody else that was going to be on the board longer than the end of November, I'd have let them go, but no one came forth. Marty was still willing to go, so Marty's heading out there next week to represent us. It's no cost to us, and to represent us and find out what information. And there's supposed to be even a tour of the White House, I think. And stuff. It should be a nice event. Spoke at Kiwanis meeting here a week or two ago. I don't know why. Probably I muddled things up pretty good. And Thresherman's spoke at the opening ceremonies of the Thresherman's reunion get together. So it's been a busy month and a lot of things going on. So anyway, you don't have to listen to me anymore on these things. We'll turn it over to committee chairs, and we're going to start with the ladies' side. So, Vic.
Thank you.
That's what we don't have anything.
Take long.
Everything's moving along pretty good.
Thankfully, we got an excellent employee in IT who really keeps up.
You say they're not.
We got all excellent employees, but John's good. Kathy?
Yeah, all we had was, the renewal of the insurance, and, Jeff was able to get the insurance decreased by 2.7%. So, and still with Blue Cross Blue Shield. And basically that's it.
That's 2 decreases in a row, isn't it?
Yep, we had a decrease last year.
The nice thing about this insurance, anytime you get up, and help me if I'm wrong, anytime you get up to 45,000 and over in medical expenses, those are taken out of the how they compute what your rate's going to be the following year. They don't figure those in. Those are a different category. So that is one reason, we probably have had a couple that have gone way high over that.
Yes.
You take those off and the rest of them are lower, so we get a good rate.
Right. And then also, there was a question asked how many people are on the 1,000 deductible plan and how many are on the 3,500 deductible plan. 35% are on the 3,500 and then 65% are on the 1,000 deductible plan. So,
But the other choice?
the 3,500.
No, I said they have.
Oh, they have a choice, yes, yeah, right, yep. So.
Okay. Darrell, I guess we're across the table.
Well, we haven't had the meeting yet.
She said you can't report it.
Here's what we're gonna talk about.
This ought to be a good one.
Yes, I have to do that. The solar farms, there's a application in for 2 solar farms that are south of Pontiac, down by the prison property, kind of out there in the boonies. They will not be acted upon tonight because the ZBA did not make a recommendation, or is not making a recommendation. One of the drawbacks, I'll say, is that they're not, before they presented the other solar farms with the chain link fence, this here is similar to a farm fence, square or rectangular holes. They thought it was a positive thing in that rabbits, squirrels, whatever could go through it. And they didn't have any problem with the height, but they would be putting on wooden posts, which also did not take any concrete bases. So it would be, when they are transformed back into farm ground, there'd be less disturbance there to the soil. And the other thing was that the soil and water did not make a presentation there, and you know, I guess I'm nothing against soil and water, but before, once I heard where they were talking about a wetland over on the other side of the field, a wet spot, which had no effect on this solar farm, or the water, the ground is not good drainage with retaining water, but it doesn't flood. So I don't know. Anyway, it's not going to be discussed tonight.
No.
Wireless facilities, I don't know what, he's going to give us an update on that. I don't even think there's anything of any significance there. Solid waste report, we do have a final proposal ready to be decided on, a 3-year extension on that. So that, he wants to clarify what a solar farm is, and what that is. It's a development where, and I've got his words here somewhere, but anyway, it's a development where the primary use for it is for selling electricity. If you put solar panels on your building, house, shed, whatever, and it's primarily for your use, or for that, then it's a different classification, but we're not considered to be a solar farm. I mean, you could still, eventually, if you had overreach or whatever, you could still sell it, but anyway, want to clear that up. And I'm surprised that hadn't been cleared up before. We've been working with that. He does have the review of bills, $3,451.25. Maybe that's the one for the soil and water, I don't know. He also said that John Slagle wants to bring up a limit to how big a solar farm can be. But I'm not going to, John can speak for himself. Right, John?
Yep.
Okay. And that's it.
Gonna be a busy night, huh?
Oh, no, it's gonna be short and sweet. You got it, buddy.
Okay. Mr. Station?
Well, seems like things are going pretty good for the veterans. They're maintaining the course, are way under budget, and there's almost 116, maybe a little over $116,000 left in their funds. They started using the Enbridge vehicle in place of the handicap van, trying to keep miles off the handicap van. It doesn't get as good as mileage as the vans, but it's going to save them a lot in mileage on it, because the handicap van is twice the cost of the rest of them. But it seems like, you know, bills are down, and hopefully they're going to continue that way. So that's about all I have.
How many vans do they have, Chuck?
3.
3.
Okay, Mr. Bunning?
We actually recessed our meeting, that was earlier this afternoon, until 5 o'clock on next Thursday, the 13th. Hoping to get our state's attorney to come and answer a few questions the committee members have about a bridge petition with Charlotte Road District. It's a replacement of an existing structure and placing 2 pipe culverts in. So we went ahead and recessed the meeting for that discussion. We did pass the quarterly report to bring forward to the full board. And then we also talked about some potential things to come down the road here. Prairie Materials, the quarry south of town here off of Weston Road, has asked for Epperds Point Township and for us to come into some type of road agreement to where they can cross our road. I think many of you guys know down there on Western Blacktop, Livingston Stone crosses our county highway to go from their hole to their grinder. So they're kind of wanting the same deal. He just wanted to give us a heads up on that. And then we discussed some more FY19 budget issues. And
What's your consensus on that on Prairie?
too early to determine. We just wanted to put it in the ear of the committee members that we're going to have a discussion about it. So obviously it'll be 2 separate road agreements. One will be with Epperds Point Township. It sounds like the quarry wants to run their haul trucks on about a half mile of their road and then cross Weston Blacktop, which is our county road, and then pull into a property on the east side of our township or our county road.
You know, it'd be really nice at Prairie if they were to follow our noxious weed ordinance.
Okay.
You know what I mean? You know that mountain of material down there where
I know.
it hasn't been touched in 6 years or 8 years? Be nice to keep the noxious weeds in check.
I will make sure that gets to the, do we have a noxious weed person? That is Chuck.
Chuck,
Chuck,
it is.
isn't it? So, I will pass that along. I will see him at 6 o'clock.
When's the asphalt going down on the bridge there south?
They're hoping,
10th of September?
they are hoping next week. This week's weather has kind of pushed us back a little bit. They're hoping Wednesday, Thursday of next week to lay the asphalt. Deconstruction, who is the contractor in order to do the asphalt, realizes the importance of the weekend coming up, the 20th through the 23rd. They are hoping to get it done, but it's all weather dependent. So, that's all I got.
Michael?
Committee met, usual maintenance issues. We did approve amendment to the lease for the Regions building. They had asked for an option to renew at the end of the current lease, primarily based on the fact that they're going to end up spending considerably more on renovations they planned. The original plan was somewhere in the neighborhood of $80,000, and it appears they're going to be at the $140,000. They've gone out for bids multiple times, talked to multiple people, trying to get the cost down. Part of that is the second bathroom that the Pontiac plumbing inspectors insisted has to be ADA compliant. I'd be glad to offer more personal opinion about that outside of the meeting.
Who's the inspector?
And then
Bruce, is it?
also approved going out for requests for leases for the 2 parcels of farm ground that have expired. One behind the HD building, the other one out at the old nursing home site. And then SmartWatt was here, if you remember. They're a company that come in and talk to us about basically doing energy audits and then defining projects that we can participate in or not to reduce energy consumption in various buildings. Actually, there was an audit done by Con Ed, paid for by SmartWatt, on the Law and Justice Center, but that was strictly on electricity, and that can be rolled into bigger projects when that comes. Kind of interesting because SmartWatt does this kind of work, but there's state statute that dictates when you're going to do this sort of thing, it's not request for proposals as such, it's request for qualifications. So SmartWatt provided us with the forms, and it gets published on the state's, the development board. And that's where the contractors go for road work and various types of stuff. And so we may get proposals from Siemens, Honeywell, Johnson Control, as well as Smart One. And then we select, based on qualifications, someone to represent us going forward. And so those are going out. Elena's got some dates to plug in. It'll request, or the actual qualifications are due back October, November timeframe.
Yeah, in October.
It's later this fall. I mean, it's not a rushed process, but kind of looking forward to it because we think there's some real benefits to be had. Now, SmartWatt, and I don't know about the others because we haven't seen their proposals, they actually guarantee the savings that they project. In other words, if they say, okay, you do these projects, and you're gonna save $100,000, and you only save 80, they write a check to us for 20. So obviously I'm sure their projections are on the conservative side. I don't know if the other companies make such proposals or not. That's about it.
Mr. Schaefer, you came just in time.
Good, timely, that's the key to life, isn't it? Time is everything.
And,
Just,
fun.
budget's probably 94% done? Okay. Yeah, really nice document. At the end of the day, our folks have really, I think folks will be pleased, whether they're pleased with the result or not. The actual numbers are okay, but for some may not care for that. But the actual product will be a vast improvement over what we've done for years. It probably puts us, if we were competing, we'd be pretty competitive, I think, in the presentation. So, good work. And no, I'm not. And then, what else? Oh, now we had a tax abatement proposal, which is part of an ongoing program that we have with GLC EDC. Sea League and Forest is about a 15,000 square foot expansion. They meet the qualifications, and obviously those not only have to do with abating county taxes, which is a smaller part, but they have to meet with the school district and probably the city of Forest to see if they'll go along with it as well. But presumably they will, and that will be a nice expansion. So, that's about it.
Did it?
That's it, Chief.
Okay, good job. Okay. Okay, Mr. Holt.
One thing I probably should mention is that there's an article in Panagraph about solar farm going back to the ZBA. I read that article and there was some conflicting information in there to what we're operating under. So I called Randy and he does not get that paper, so I took a picture of it and sent it to him so he could read the article. But I gave him some of the things that are different than what we think they should be or we're told they should be. So he said that we're doing it the right way and that the other county is wrong in their interpretation. I just thought I'd let you know in case other people have read the article and wondered about are we doing it right or not.
Okay, good. Joe?
Mike, did you see the lease for the farm grounds coming up in the spring? This is the last year for it?
December.
It expires as of October 31st.
So has anybody expressed any interest? Are we still, what, we're at 301 an acre or something? Are they looking at the same number? Are we looking at an increase?
We're gonna bid it.
Are we gonna look at other options?
As far as, well, we're just bidding it out. So many acres.
So I know, like with the, I don't know what it's gonna be yet, but with this new farm program, the farm bill, this pollinator acres are up 300 plus in places. I don't know if we qualify for something like that. I don't know. But they're throwing stupid money around in the preliminary farm bill. And it's not gonna be done at the end of this month. We're actually not gonna put, so I'm gonna CRP and grades full time.
so we can get paid for planting it and not farming it?
Right,
We
For
got-
5 years,
You gotta mow it, don't you?
can't touch it.
Oh, I thought you had to
I
mow
don't
it.
think so, not with the pollens.
when the weeds get away, they make you get rid of
You
them.
plant weeds, plant milk
The right
weeds and all that.
But you have neighbors turn you in, I know of our
Noxious.
neighbors that have got.
For those noxious weeds.
Yeah, like I said,
You were-
it's
Never
not,
heard this.
it's not 100% done yet, but I know that there's guys around me that
Well, I
are in
don't-
the
I mean,
290
I
range and they
understand
haven't for a couple of years.
So in addition to.
Okay, before
paying
we
people
get,
not to farm it, we're gonna pay them to plant weeds.
Right.
be-
They pay for
before,
the
Cover
seed
the
even,
expense.
before we get going here, I wanna ask you,
something to
any,
look at, you know.
any of the public has anything that they wanna provide for this group?
I,
Mr. Slagle?
Yeah, the letter, from the soil and water person.
Yeah.
I got a copy of it. My impression was that she worked there.
Yeah.
She heard that the bill wasn't being paid by the county.
Yeah.
And she thought, I have some acquaintances on the board
Yep.
that should know about this, so they
Yep.
could ping the county and see what's going on. So she let them know.
Yep.
I don't, what part of that upset you?
That she didn't well, first of all, she wasn't authorized even to send a letter, is what
Right.
they tell me. There, she did that on her own, overhearing a conversation.
Right?
And I don't know why she didn't send it to somebody that could have taken care of it immediately, such as Alina, myself, or Darrell,
Or Chuck.
instead of sending it to board member. Darrell's the chairman of the ZBA, he'd be one that should have been notified if
Right.
Alina and I weren't. And it seemed to be a way just to try to put our zoning coordinator in a poor light among some county board members.
Okay, thanks for clarifying.
It's exactly where I'm coming from.
you said she's an employee of the Livingston County Saltwater Conservation District?
She's with the, what's that,
NRCS.
NRCS,
No, I'm
But
not
she-
sure, whatever the organization.
but she,
Okay.
One of the alphabet soups out there, it's not the soil and water.
but she operated as if she's part of the soil and water.
Was it
Soil
on-
and water letterhead, and,
Was it on soil and water?
yeah,
Letterhead?
Was?
I don't know. I just got an
Email.
email.
Yeah, it was from a private email, I assume. It didn't say anything about NRCS.
No.
It was a Gmail account, cause I got a copy of it.
You did, can you send it to me so I can see it?
I've got a copy of it, I'll get it when I go
There's
downstairs.
two of them. There's two of
You
them.
mean the email or the letter?
I only got one.
Do you have?
I don't like the letter, does someone have the letter?
I got two of
Oh,
them.
I don't know.
Letters?
I have the email, but I do not have the soil and water
Carol?
letter,
You got it, I sent it.
if there was one.
Was this an email?
What are you talking,
Letter.
I don't,
Paper.
a letter from Soil and Water?
Yeah, if there's a letter
Forwarded to you.
from soil and water to the county, I have not seen it.
Well, you FOIA'd,
I don't know, but I
You
have
put
FOIA'd it,
yeah,
yes.
which you'll get next week.
Well, hopefully. The
Was it
person
sent as a
is,
letter and email?
who did you send the FOIA
I just got an email.
Soil and Water.
I sent it to soil and water because they're the ones that should, if it exists, they would have it. But the person who is in charge of that was not in this rest of this week, so it will not be till,
Next week.
well, probably next week unless, I mean, it's a very limited request, so
Wait a minute.
maybe they should. They're
Can I hear
subject
you
to
right?
FOIA.
You FOIA'd it?
I FOIA'd it because I had heard that there was one, and I'm trying to track down the facts.
Why didn't you ask somebody that got it just to share it with you?
No, I just wanna get it from them, they're the ones we're gonna get
Who's-
down to the
who's
bottom
them?
facts.
Who's that?
From soil and water,
Oh, you FOIA'd them?
yes.
Well, you're right, I got two too.
I got
I
two.
got one and then she sent me another one.
One was a good morning, one was a good afternoon.
The first one says good afternoon. The second one said good morning.
What's the
I'd give
difference
that
between the
backwards.
two?
The next day, maybe.
No, it
I
was,
got one.
I didn't get either. It said good morning around.
So we gotta go.
I don't care which
One
one.
was 10 days ago. the other one-
No, the employee's last day, she sent it out on a Monday, her last day of work was Friday.
But I'm saying, we've got
Oh, she
There's
quit?
a rogue
I
employee
can't,
out
I
there
can't, I don't know. I
that
can't.
did something they shouldn't have done.
Or it's
The matter's been
term.
taken care of, I don't know why.
10 days
That's
apart.
what I was-
Well, we're having it because half of the board members got it, the other half did not, Mike.
I understand.
That's why it was brought up tonight.
No,
That's why
I
you said
appreciate
that.
but
She
it's
had
like-
reached out to you, John, and
How's it for you?
you gave her some names to send it to?
No, she just sent me on the list of people that she included it on.
Okay.
Like I said, I think she was just pinging, saying, why hasn't anybody responded to this?
Probably, I mean, she didn't indicate about being an employee, I think she did it, I took it to be in her capacity as a citizen that knew something.
How would you know about it if you were a citizen?
Well, she doesn't
I don't
work for
even know
Soil
about
and
it.
Water,
I don't know
so
about it.
they must have told her. There was one office out there, I think they're all in the same building, aren't they? Aren't they all in the same building out there?
They are. Yes, they are.
And from what I understood, two of the more senior people were talking about it, and then she took it upon herself to go ahead and act.
That I don't know.
No one had asked her to do that. She did it because she heard the conversation.
Okay.
Not an officer.
Who told you that?
The chairman,
Bob?
the chairman
I mean,
of Soil and Water,
Okay, who is, who's that?
I don't know.
Lee Bunning.
Oh, Lee Bundy.
Well, there's the problem. There's
Okay, anybody else?
I'm just now hearing about this.
Okay, thanks for attending, and we do have ag and zoning. Wait a minute, Darrell's
I have a
muttering.
motion to adjourn and move on to other things. My motion is to adjourn,
Okay,
yeah.
I'll
and Mr. Bunning got the second.
Oh, I was gonna say,
Aye.
let's
All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.